Hello and welcome to episode 9 of the Dynamo Football Book Club Injury Time. This week, man, we're doing an NASL draft. My name is Al Bond and I'm here with my co-host, Johnny Coughlin. Hi, Johnny.
Hi, Al.
I'm an American. I'm an American.
Yeah, I figured that was an American, right? Howdy.
Yeah, that's what everyone says here. Howdy. Howdy, partner. That's right. So I live in America. Yeah, I'm forever being greeted. I just went off to get a coffee and howdy, Al. Howdy, Missy. Yeah, we all live in Texas in Western times.
The whistle blows. The ball is over. It is over. The Cosmos are the champions of North America. The first team ever. And Pelé.
Okay, so this week we are choosing a five-a-side team of famous NASL players. Johnny, what was the NASL?
The North American Soccer League, which, if I'm not mistaken, existed from 1968 to 1984. It started with 5 teams. I think there were 48 teams at different times because some of them came, some of them went. For example, I think they were called Team Hawaii. Certainly, the team in Hawaii, they had to they lasted one season because they had to travel 80,000 miles.
Lazy Team Hawaii. Great for the environment.
But I think at the most, at any one point, they had 24 teams. But yeah, there was 48 overtime. So, but it was its flame burned bright and fast.
Yes, it burned brighter in some locations than other locations, right? Anyway, Johnny, I've got a little quiz for you. I am going to give you a name of an American city. I want you to name the current MLS name of that team. And can you name the previous name, Johnny? So there's going to be a potential of 12 points here. And there's some bonus points available.
What do you predict I will get out of 12?
4. Well, let's have a look. Let's find out. All right.
Okay, let's go.
So, all right. First of all, Johnny, we're going to start with the proud city of Boston. Boston, Massachusetts. What is the current MLS team for Boston? It's not named after Boston. Think of the Patriots.
I know that the old team was the Boston Minutemen. Is that correct?
That is correct, Johnny. Excellent shout. And a little shout out to Preston Garvey, Fallout 4 people.
Don't know what that was.
That confused you, didn't it, Johnny?
But the current team, Boston Sound.
No, it's not the Boston Sound. No, I told you the thing. It's the New England.
Wait.
New England.
It's New England. It's not Patriots. New England Massholes. I don't know.
New England Revolution. All right.
Fucking hell. Of course I knew that one. I'll actually take that one. And on reflection, I did know. Anyway, okay, go on.
Oh, you will take that point with it. Okay. Sorry. So 2 out of 2, Johnny. Excellent. Wait, I think you're going to do much better at this quiz than I expected, to be honest. All right then, Johnny.
Yeah.
Houston.
Oh, God. Houston Rockets, but that's basketball.
No, Johnny. This one is pertinent. Houston. Think of a recent rebrand. Houston
Dynamos.
Yay! There it is. Houston Dynamo. What an excellent name for a team that is. I'm going to give you that point. Now, can you have a little stab at the old name for a Houston team? It's alliterative. Think bad weather.
Hurricanes? Well, that was a bit
of Johnny, get in there, son. All right, then. Here's a next one. Miami.
Did I see something like, did I see Wave?
Let's just nail down the current one.
That's Inter Miami, I guess, is the big one.
A fucking shit name, isn't it, Johnny? It's so shitty.
It's really lazy.
It's like, it really annoys me. Anyway, but Inter Miami.
Imagine taking the name of an existing team to use it in your own thing. It's terrible. Anyway, the previous one,
Animals. There's two different names. Animals.
Oh, there's something called Gato, isn't there?
Well, that's the Miami Gatos. That's cats. The Miami
Okay.
Cats in
Huh.
1972. That's a fearsome looking team, isn't it? Like, oh, it's for house cats. The Miami. But in 1973, they upgraded, Johnny. Still think Spanish. Can't see this, folks. I'm doing something.
Diablo.
Diablo? No, still an animal. The toros, the bulls.
Okay,
So
you
they
were
went
doing
from cats.
these are universally the devil horns. Okay.
I was doing double horned listeners. Okay, no, I was doing bullhorns, to be
Okay,
clear.
no, I
But
got
anyway,
you.
quite an upgrade from a cat to a bull in a year. Well done. All right, now Montreal. This is no, I can't give it. You can't. It's CF Montreal. But in the old
Oh,
days,
wait. There was a Croatia one. Croatia something.
oh, there was indeed, and
Was that
that's gonna.
Montreal? That was one of the Canadian ones.
It wasn't. It was Toronto.
Mm,
But good knowledge, Johnny.
mm.
And I know a pick I'm going to be going in pretty fast on, like, because you revealed that information. Anyway, oh, Toronto Metro Croatia popped up in your eye line. Number one pick for me. All right. Yeah, it's CF Montreal, but they used to be the Montreal Manic.
No,
Just
that's nice.
another Manic Montreal. Great stuff.
That's a nice one.
You know who wrote that song?
Who wrote it? Manic
Yeah,
Monday. I don't know.
yeah. Prince. Oh yeah. Okie dokie. I've just got a couple more, Johnny. We'll get this over and done with. Philadelphia.
I don't know either new or old.
All right, no way. Okay. Philadelphia Union. And they used to be the Atoms. Very
Oh,
Simpsons.
I saw that one earlier, and that is a lovely name. That's one of the best names.
Yeah. And then they became the Fury, which is also good.
It's
Philadelphia
very good.
Fury.
Yeah, because some
All
of them
right.
suck. The worst one is Sockers.
Well, that was my next one, Johnny. Excellent.
The
FC San
Sockers.
Diego, but spell with a K.
Yeah.
Like people who
Socks.
sock. People who sock. A soccer. But what were they called before that, Johnny? They changed it to the Sockers
Yeah.
from an excellent name. FC San Diego in 1976 were called
San Diego Wave.
Dun, 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 dun,
Oh,
dun,
yeah,
dun,
San
dun,
Diego
dun.
Jaws. I saw that one. Brilliant.
Very good. Johnny did pretty well there. Well done.
I think the
I
best
think
name of all American sports is, you told me this, that there's a school near your place in Florida called the Millennium School, and their team is called the Falcons. Now, that
that's,
is good stuff.
that's quite right. That's quite right. Yeah. Just up the road from me, the Millennium Falcons. Big shout out to Seattle Sounders, San Jose Earthquakes, and the Tampa Bay Rowdies, who still have existing football teams named after their NASL iteration.
I actually have the California surf shirt. My brother got me that as a gift, which is like from the NASL years. It's pretty cool, isn't it?
Those shirts are just so fucking sexy. All of
Yeah,
them. They're all so sexy. There's one of them that has tassels on it. I'm trying to remember who. Literally
Yeah,
tassels on the shirt.
you sent me that one. The worst names, if you don't like Inter Miami, you're not going to like the Kansas City Spurs.
No, I had that there. Yeah. Yeah, they were right to get rid of that one. Yeah, they were.
They never won anything, can you imagine?
But they're
Earthquakes,
now
are they?
Sporting Kansas City. So does that mean they're just like Sporting USA? See what I'm saying? Because it's never Sporting Lisbon, is it? It's Sporting Clube de Portugal. And if you say Sporting Lisbon, everyone gets on their high horse.
Oh, really?
So it's Sporting Clube de United States.
Washington Diplomats is a bad name
It's
because
absolutely appalling, isn't it?
it's so bad.
You're meant to be intimidated by that, like, oh,
Yeah.
mate, the crowd are baying very politely and reasonably, diplomatically.
Yeah, the Hawaiian one is Hawaii team, which sucks as well. Anyway, okay, for our draft, because it's on topic, I want you to pick a name from this list for your team.
Ooh, lovely, Johnny. I wasn't expecting this.
Hmm.
And whilst I very quietly consult Google,
Team America. Team America is actually there. That's so funny. The names are a lot of fun.
well, I have my team name, Johnny. Can I announce it now? I will be representing the Caribous of Colorado.
You're the Colorado caribou.
Well,
That's
it says here caribous of Colorado, and I insist on it being phrased that way.
is that how we pluralize caribou? I'd say it's caribou rather than caribous. But anyway, there
Well,
was
booze for you, Johnny. Let's have lots of booze. Boo. The
okay. Well,
Caribous of Colorado. You wanted a team name, Johnny? I've given you one. The Caribous of
no,
Colorado. What are you having?
You're welcome to have it. You would think that I would have thought ahead myself, seeing as I've come up with this. But I would be. I do like the atoms. That one is quite nice. Let me go for one of the really, really shit ones.
And there's lots.
Because it's the laziest of all of them, I'm going to go for the Miami Americans.
Well, it's on brand.
It's shocking.
So it's Caribous versus America. Here we go.
The guy who kind of drove a lot of the development of the NASL was an Englishman called Clive Toy, who had been a journalist he was a chief sports writer for the Daily Express. And then he was off traveling the world, going to World Cups and stuff like that. And then he figured after the World Cup in 1966, he had achieved all he needed. He'd cleared journalism and he packed off to America and he got on board this expansion league. Isn't that what they call those things in America? He became the general manager of the Baltimore Bays, but he's the guy, he became the general manager of the Cosmos, and he's the guy who drove the whole Pelé thing. So he was very much the energy behind the kind of NASL at its zenith, and he was the head of the whole. What do they call those things? They called him commissioner. They called him, isn't it? He was the commissioner by the time it folded, actually. But they did all these funny things, and I guess maybe this is topical because they're about to do all of these horrible things to the World Cup with like half-time shows and stuff like that. So in our draft today, in the event of a draw, we will not be going to a penalty shootout because there was no draws permitted. We'll be going to one of those hockey-style one-on-one situations.
I mean, I kind of admired the innovation they showed. Some of them quite exciting, right? So like a draw would result in 15 minutes of overtime with golden goal. And failing that, it would go to penalties. And like regular penalties was not exciting enough, was it, Johnny?
Well, this is the whole problem. You know, the glory of football is the kind of anticipation, right? You have to care. Have we talked about this before? I know we've talked about this ourselves, but I could sit down and watch a game from any league and it could be a decent game. I would have no interest. It's only when you have a stake in it that it's really interesting, right? You know, you could sit down and watch other sports and just find it interesting objectively, but football doesn't work like that, I don't think. You have to have a stake in it, and it's because you're waiting for so long. It's the anticipation. That's what football is about, I think. So this idea to kind of make it kind of broader with more scores was, I think, not really how football works. I think it kind of cuts away from what football actually is.
But I don't want this to be a horny podcast, Johnny. But yeah, exactly. The goal is the moment of climax, isn't it? And all and everything in the build up to that is foreplay. I mean, I think it's a fairly acceptable analogy. Yeah, that's it. You don't want to be. Oh God, I don't actually want to continue this analogy. Yeah, but anyway, yeah. So yeah, the point is, goals are rare and they're most important. That's yes. Yes,
and that is what makes football different than most other sports. I guess there are other low scoring sports. Ice hockey is one, right? But for the most part, you know, if you watch rugby, I'm not just saying American sports, but scoring is more common. But doing things with your feet is harder.
Well, that's right. But I mean, I do understand that viewpoint, though. I mean, disclosure, folks. I live in America, and when people are like 0-0, really, what was the point? And sometimes you can think, I don't really know, to be honest. What was the point?
Yeah.
But I mean, I understand that viewpoint. Like, it's like we're trying to watch a sport to watch goals, and there aren't any goals. But yes, that's the whole point, isn't it? And in all fairness, 0-0s are not that common, really, are they? Yeah, and another innovation was, so this was the time when it was widely accepted that in a league system, a win would get you 2 points, a draw would get you 1 point, and a defeat would get you no points. Well, they threw that out, didn't they, Johnny? They threw that out. They said that is old school thinking. So points for a win, 6. Points for a
6.
loss, 0. But bonus points were awarded for a goal up to 3 goals. So essentially, if you won 6-3, you'd get 9 points, and your opponent, despite having lost, would still get 3 points. Encouraging goals.
And another thing that they did was, when you go to a fun fair and you throw sponges at a thing, and if it hits the yolk, a guy falls into a tank of water. So they set that up beside the goal, and there's an opposing fan sitting over a tank of water for the entirety of the game. But if a ball hits a particular part in the top corner, the guy falls into the water.
Is that real?
No, that is not real.
Okay. I was just, I don't know. There's quite a lot of weird stuff, wasn't there?
But they did other things, like there was only offsides in the last 35 yards, and the clocks counted down rather than counted up. So they allowed a lot more subs, which I guess is common in American sports, right? So there was all of that in terms of that game, and then there was just a general razzmatazz that America expects of these things. So cheerleaders and halftime shows, which we can all look forward to in 2026, the Trump World Cup, the Johnny Infantino Trump World Cup. That's going to... Oh, and let's throw Chris Martin in there because he's the man responsible for the halftime show.
Well, is he going to be pulling out voodoo priests and armadillo races? I hope so, because that's what they did at the NASL.
Armadillo
I don't really feel like I've been to a football match unless I've watched an armadillo race. It just really gets the blood pumping right before you get going. By the way, I am 1,000,000% on board with the clock counting down. 1,000,000%. Get on it, world. Come on. It's so bloody obvious. At 0, beep, beep, beep.
In American football, maybe in rugby, they stop it when the ball goes out of play. But the ball is in play in the game of football for about 30 minutes a half. So I don't know how they'd manage that.
I have many ideas on this, Johnny, but we probably shouldn't get into it now.
Anyway,
one day I'd like to litigate that. I can sort this out. I can certainly injury time problems. I can sort them out. Just call me up, FIFA. Just call me up. I'm here, available, and I am very venal and open to corruption. So yes, please, I'm going to fit right in.
But you want to litigate the word soccer.
So how disgusted are you by that word, Johnny? You see, I live in America. I've made my peace with the S word. I don't like it, but it's there. And it makes a point. I mean, when in Rome, if I go around saying football, people think that I mean American football. So what do you say? What do you say? It's deliberately confrontational almost for me to start banging on about football. I do it by accident, but...
Well, in Ireland, we say soccer because football is Gaelic football. So we were kind of a bit funny in that sense. We've always kind of said soccer. So yes, certainly I have. And I think that's common. But where did it come from? Where did it come from?
I think the performance, it's association football. It comes from association, ASSOCCA, IA. I think there's a lot of performative outrage over the word soccer. I mean, it's called Soccer Saturday in England. My dad always called it soccer, but then he is a rugby guy. But yeah, it was always called Soccer Saturday, and no one made a peep. All right, should we crack on?
Yeah, let's crack on, Alistair. Let's do it.
Gladiators, ready!
All right, you got a coin, my friend.
I meant to have one in.
I've got one. I can get one right. I can have one in one.
I do, because I think you've been kind of cheating somehow in this coin thing. All right, here goes.
Oh yeah, because of all my success in these drafts. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, tell me what you want.
Tails.
Tails fails for the first time.
What? Bollocks.
Yep, you heard me. Okay.
Alrighty.
Who do you think I'm going to go for?
Well, I know who you are, Johnny, and I know what you like. I think it's going to be a Brazilian. Am I right?
Yeah. So Pelé was in retirement, but this guy, Clive Toy, he convinced Pelé to go to America instead of going to, I think it was Juventus, because they had been trying to get him out of retirement as well. But apparently also there was a diplomatic consideration here. It was seen as a good development for Brazilian-American relations. It also helped that he became the world's highest paid athlete, $1.4 million. a year. And the CIA had a little file on Pele. It's kind of fun, isn't it? Anyway, Edson Arantes de Nascimento. I'm going to go for that guy, Pele.
All right, very good.
So he's playing for, what did I say I'm called? Miami America or something?
The Miami Americans.
Okay. I know who you're going to go for.
Do you?
Yeah.
Because I was toying with it. The old Toronto Metros Croatia got me going. But I'll tell you who I'm going to lock down. I'm going to lock down my number one boy and the only real notable defender, Franz Beckenbauer.
Well,
Get him in
exactly.
there.
You know,
The
this
greatest defender that ever walked the earth. 2 Ballon d'Ors. Elegance personified.
also a Cosmos man.
Yeah, and someone who really bought into the American lifestyle as well. Apparently, could be found at Studio 54 with Grace Jones naked on top of the white horse. I like that image. Really bought into America. And I think the most notable defender. So I think that's going to be a big advantage. Franz Beckenbauer. Was that who you thought I was going to pick?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was obvious.
All right. Johnny, your second pick, sir.
You know what's going to be tricky, actually, is goalkeepers. Because that one's actually quite fun. My second pick. There are 3 outstanding players, really, remaining. So I think it's going to be hard for you to come back, I say with respect. So I'm going to go with Cruyff because I like Johan. He played for the Los Angeles Aztecs and the boring-ass Washington Diplomats.
To go from an Aztec to a diplomat like that is a culture shift. Well, who's going to bang in my goals? Eusebio. Ever heard of him?
Well, yeah, he's one of the 3. He played for Boston Minutemen, Toronto Metro, Croatia, and that name came into being because they merged with an amateur team in Toronto that was composed of Croatians. And he also played for this is a nice one too, the Las Vegas Quicksilvers.
Yeah, he absolutely did. There was a couple more as well. Monterrey, 1 goal in 10. Another team to rival yours, Johnny, the New Jersey Americans. I think that's even worse name than Miami. And he also played for an indoor team, which is maybe the worst name of all, Buffalo Stallions. Make your fucking mind up. Is it a stallion or is it a buffalo? You can't have both.
The fellas sitting around Buffalo thinking, we need a name for this, an animal name for this team. What should it be? You know, that's absolutely remarkable. Buffalo Bills. That is a good name.
Yeah, it is. Buffalo Bills. They are like the most supported team in America, Johnny, by a million miles. Like anecdotally, everywhere I go, I see Buffalo Bill stuff. Never won it.
Yeah, they had OJ as well, didn't they?
I'm going to take your word for that.
Yeah, they did.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, well, it's a pretty sexy team at Pelé and Cruyff so far, and Eusebio and Beckenbauer. This is our highest quality draft yet, but I'm going to fucking ruin it soon.
So, of the list that I have here, this is the only one that I'm aware of who was heard crying in a men's bathroom by a friend of mine. That's George Best.
You see, yeah, he is the other prestige one.
Yeah, he is. He's pretty fucking good. There might be a problem with defense. LA Aztecs, the Fort Lauderdale Strikers, and this is a nice name, the San Jose Earthquakes. That's a good name.
Yeah, well, a name that remains to this day, like Darren Huckabee is one of our all-time great players of the old San Jose Earthquakes.
Just one of the all-time great players, maybe.
Darren Huckabee.
Yeah.
A speedboat without a driver, I heard Andy Townsend call him once, and I thought that was lovely. He was absolute legend for Forest, I'll have you know. We had him on loan for 1 season. My God. So good. All right. Well, actually, I have got a comeback to that, though.
Is it a Forest connection?
No, there's no Forest connection. No, I'm keeping it high. I'm going for Gerd Muller. Gerd Muller. Heard of him, Johnny? He's got a few World Cup goals, didn't he? A pretty decent player.
Yeah. Who did Muller was also Cosmos, was he?
No, he was Fort Lauderdale Strikers. 38 goals in 71 appearances.
That's not bad, is it? The bomber.
World Cup winner. European Cup winner. Yeah, he's got it all. That's Johnny, this is an absolutely blinding team, isn't it? Like,
And I assume when we are putting this through the machine, what we're asking the machine is to tell us what the outcome would be, not when they were in America, but when these players were at their peak. The
No,
peak
no,
of
no, 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 no,
no.
no, 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 no. Oh, look at you, dirty bastard. My boys have all got a fabulous record in America. No, well, I guess the machine's going to do what the machine's going to do. But
Okay,
yeah,
well
I'm pretty pumped about this, Johnny. Look at this. Woo!
you said there was no other defenders, but there's one. He captained a World Cup winning side. Do you want to guess who I'm going for? A certain man called
Carlos
Carlos
Alberto.
Alberto, who played for, you got it, the New York Cosmos.
Okay, well, I'm going to lock him down like the scourge of Sky Sports, Rodney Marsh. Let's get Rodney Marsh. Excellent record in America. Fun fact, in 2006, Talk Sport were forced to issue an apology after Marsh made a newsreader laugh uncontrollably while she was reporting on the death of the British soldier in Afghanistan. So lovely Rodney Marsh.
Didn't he make a joke about tsunamis as well? The Toon Army, something
Yeah,
like that?
absolutely. That's his famous one. That's his famous
Yeah.
one. Yeah, yeah. Beckham won't want to go to Newcastle because the Toon Army have been causing trouble in Southeast Asia. And that was really, really soon after it as well, wasn't it? I think.
Oh. You can kind of forgive him for it, but not great, is it?
It's like Philip Schofield. It's ill-advised, not illegal.
We're going to go for goalkeepers now, and there's kind of three outstanding goalkeepers. What do I want to go for here? Do I want to go from my head or from my heart? Because there's two that are really quite exceptional, but I think I might go for the third one because he's the most fun.
No, he's the only one I've done any research on.
It's not who you think it is, I think. This guy is actually from America, the only American. He's born in
Feel free to pick this man, sir. Feel free.
Long Island. He played for the New York Cosmos, the Boston Minutemen, the Oakland Stompers, Rochester Lancers, worst name of all, New York Arrows, not bad. His name is Shep Messing, but the reason I'm picking him is because he posed nude for a Playgirl magazine.
Wow. Hello.
which I thought was a nice little wrinkle. And he called himself...
I feel that you've chosen Shep Messing so you can sloppily introduce it into your AI and it's going to think it's messy. Oh, I didn't put the on, but I'll never know.
Yeah, so he said he was the sexiest player in the NASL. So
Well,
I just wanted to include
Shep
him because...
Messing, like it sounds. Let's have a look at this gorgeous man.
Yeah. He's the most...
The first picture that comes up on Google. Okie dokie. Oh, lovely stuff. Okay, he's not that sexy now. I'll give you. He's 75 years old in his defense.
Yeah, he's a handsome devil in his day, though. You have to hand it to him.
Very, very of his time, eh? Look at that. He's got like a Knight Rider perm, big
Yeah,
moustache.
Exactly. All those 1975s. Absolutely brilliant. Here's a picture of him with Mick Jagger, who you can't read anything about NASL without reading the name Mick Jagger. There's a picture of him with his teammate Pelé. You know, like if you're an American player at this time, just getting to play with all these greats must have been bloody amazing. But okay, Al, who else you got for me?
Yep. Probably the first Zimbabwean to pop up on the old draft. I'm going old Brucey Grobbelaar. A fairly unsavoury character. Was someone I didn't like as a kid as he played for that all-conquering Liverpool team. Played for the Vancouver Whitecaps until he got out of that and he got sent on loan to Crewe Alexandra. From there he was picked up by Liverpool. 440 games for them. But he's most famous for match-fixing allegations.
And we came across it in some book earlier. I can't remember which one, where he says he killed someone when he was in the army in Zimbabwe.
Oh, that makes sense. It must have been Matt Letizier's book. I bet it was Matt Letizier's book, do you think?
Yeah, well, he
Played with him at
obviously...
Southampton.
That's right, yeah. And he's obviously a bit of a scumbag if he's going around killing people. He was in the army, but...
Yeah, everything I hear about Bruce Grobbelaar is fairly unsavoury. He was actually not found guilty by two juries. They didn't have enough evidence. But he then took the son, so two fairly unsavoury parties, to court. He won £85,000 in defamation, but then the son appealed, and in fact, he went to the House of Lords, and he was given £1 in reparations by the son, but ordered to pay the legal costs of £500,000. So
he had to pay the legal costs.
Yeah, because they thought there was enough evidence to show that he probably was guilty.
I guess you're looking for a hung jury or a mistrial or something like that. Are they the expressions you want? The other goalkeeper was Gordon Banks of the Fort Lauderdale Strikers, and just some other players who didn't make it into our draft. Have you ever heard of this guy, Kazimierz Dana?
I haven't, no.
Apparently a star of the 1974 World Cup for Poland. Carlos Valderrama, I've heard of him. Jairzinho, I've also heard of that man. And so I asked the internet if they're all at the tail end of their career, but Grobbelaar and one other guy who we know about, Trevor Francis, played earlier in their career, but Trevor Francis just used to do it on his summer holidays. Pop over there for the summer.
Yeah, that was crazy, though. So, yeah, in the old days, they could do that, couldn't they?
Yeah, there was also Johan Neeskens, Peter Lorimer. Giorgio Shinaglia is a name that kept coming up, and it seems like he's a bit of a legend, but I don't know anything about him.
No, I saw that as well, like notable players. Stop telling me about this fucker who is patently not notable. Well, I'm sure he is notable, but in my ignorance. Yeah, I saw that. Dick Advocaat, that's like the first one that came up. And I was like, look at this. There's a list of players. And I was like, oh, look at that, Dick Advocaat. And then I scrolled down and could find fuck all else. Like, there's a Jim Bone. He is one letter away from being called James Bond, but he's Jim Bone. What a shame for him. John Craven before his news round.
Oh, Ray Wilkins was there, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah, Ray Wilkins. And there's one more keeper, Alex Stepney, who's like a Man U legend, right?
Yeah, he won the European Cup in 1968. Yeah.
So, the Caribous of Colorado. In goal, Bruce Grobbelaar. In defence, Franz Beckenbauer. And up front, Eusebio, Gerd Muller, and Rodney Marsh. And the Miami American...
Are you playing three strikers?
Yeah, I'm playing three strikers. Rodney Marsh is going to sit back a bit.
So what are you called again? The Caribou?
Caribous of Colorado.
Caribou. Okay.
You're pretty fucking adamant about this. I'm going to plural of caribou. The plural of caribou can be either caribou or caribous. Caribous of Colorado, Johnny. I made it quite clear. Insisted. I don't want people thinking there's only one caribou, representing me. It is caribou plural.
But you know the way that language works, and people get really pissed off when you say literally to mean figuratively, to mean the exact opposite of what it actually means. But if things are used frequently enough, they pass into real meaning. So I think that's what happened with your caribous there. People were wrong so regularly that it became part of the language. Anyway, I obviously sound like a total dickhead now, so I'm going to stop.
Well, there was a bit of unexpected pedantry, wasn't there? Good for you, Johnny.
Do you want any midfielder? Do you want to elect any of your players to play in midfield? Or just three attackers?
I mean, you should be able to that now. Yeah, okay. Well, Rodney Marsh is going to sit back a bit. But Beckenbauer can come in and move into midfield anyway. It's only for the side. Okay, so the Miami Americans are represented by Shep Messing, Johan Cruyff, Carlos Alberto, George Best, and a little Brazilian fella called Pelé. Oh, you're going to fucking win again, aren't you? You are. I can see. Oh, I know it. Oh, yeah, you are. Bloody Rodney Marsh. Why? Hopefully Shep Messer can totally shit the bed. Come on, Shep. Fuck it up for me.
Okay.
Are they playing, Johnny? Are they playing?
Halftime, it's 1-1. Pelé has scored, finishes a Cruyff pass, but then Eusebio unleashes a rocket off the wall, which I enjoyed because this is five-a-side.
Oh,
and then Muller taps in.
See, Eusebio using the angles, mate. Using the angles. What? Oh.
Full-time scores, 3-3, with goals from Best. Marsh sets up Muller. And then Cruyff and Pelé combine again. And then Beckenbauer surges forward and slips in your boy Eusebio, who roofs it past Messing, who's posing for some girls in the crowd.
Lovely stuff.
Okay, here we go. Oh my God. This is not good, Al.
What?
So here come the shootouts, one-on-ones. Here comes the Miami America. Pelé. Grobbler sticks out a leg and stops it.
Lovely stuff. Grobbler better than Pelé. Always said it.
Muller, blast low. Goal.
Yes, good.
Cruyff rolls it in coolly, of course. And then Best stops to tie his boot, runs out of time, according to my computer here. That's very enjoyable.
Is it really? Look at that. Lovely. Excellent AI. Well done.
And Eusebio scores. It's 2-1, and Marsh doesn't even need to take his... Sorry, I got the order wrong, but at any rate, the Caribous of Colorado win. My God, that's an unexpected loss.
Well, Johnny, it's my deeper understanding of the game that's led to that. You see, I wisely picked a defender first. You see, I knew you'd go all glory with your Pelé. You're very predictable, Johnny, but I, tactical mastermind that I am, got the Kaiser in there, marshalling Pelé and your lads. Lovely stuff. Victory is mine. Well done.
I think it's your greater understanding of the American game with all its razzmatazz.
Well, I am certainly in possession of more razzmatazz than you, Johnny. That's right.
Well,
you saw my diamond earring.
Yeah. Okay. Well, congratulations, Al. What's the score in the series now? I think it's 4-2.
That's not important, Johnny. You're as good as your last game. Everyone knows that.
Judge Best stops to tie his shoe. Come on. Jesus Christ.
You picked him, Johnny. You picked him. Fortunately, I don't know. Rodney Marsh probably would have timed out trying to make some rude comments to somebody, but he didn't get the chance. Lovely stuff, my brave boys.
Okay, well, the new era of the Dynamo Football Book Club is off with a disappointing bang, and Al is.
I think you've had a few girlfriends in the park. You know a few things about disappointing bangs, Johnny.
Hey, there we go, Chef Messing style. Okay, so next week we have that Franklin fellow who went to Columbia. The book about him.
That's how you do it, Johnny. Yes, folks, the famous Franklin fellow. The what's it called? The Rebels of Bogota.
Flight to Bogota.
Flight to Bogota by that Franklin fellow.
England international who went to play in Bogota.
Apparently none of us have that information directly to hand, but yeah, it's a very interesting story.
Well, we haven't read the book yet, so give us a chance.
All right, lovely stuff. Well, thank you very much, Johnny.
And thank you, Al.
And we'll see you next week. Thank you again, folks.
Everybody knows by now that Hunt has terrific speed. Look out! It's got goal! Goal! Is it? It is! A goal! A goal for the first goal!